Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde. At least 69 people, including 25 Malians, have died after a boat capsized off Morocco. Malian authorities have confirmed that the makeshift boat was carrying about 80 people, but only 11 people survived, and 9 of the survivors are from Mali. The boat capsized last week, but the Malian ministry confirmed the incident on Thursday. The crisis unit has been dispatched to monitor the situation as thousands of migrants attempt to cross the perilous sea from African shores each year in hopes of reaching Europe, often in makeshift vessels. The migration route, which spans from the Atlantic coast of Mauritania and Morocco to Spain, is regarded as one of the most dangerous in the world. Many of those taking this route come from sub-Saharan Africa, escaping poverty and conflict in their home countries. Morocco is just about 8 nautical miles, about 14 kilometers from Spain's mainland at its closest point. France has officially handed over its first military base in Faya-Largeau to Chad as part of an ongoing withdrawal of French forces. The move follows Chad's abrupt termination of military cooperation last month with its former colonial power. French troops are also set to leave bases in Abeche and the capital in N'Djamena. Chad's military chief of staff says the base at Faya-Largeau in the north of the country had been handed over and that it would inform the public about progress concerning the withdrawal of French forces from bases in the eastern city of Abeche and the capital in N'Djamena. The French army have some 1,000 personnel in the country, and authorities say military vehicles would leave by January and be repatriated via the Cameroonian port of Douala. The move also comes as Chad is preparing to hold parliamentary and local elections on Sunday. Concerning the war in Sudan, the Sudanese peace and climate activist Nasreen El-Saim says the war in her country has caused more than 12 million refugees and internally displaced persons to lose their homes, and climate change is not also giving them a break. Ms. El-Saim says she understands the nexus between violence and extreme weather events firsthand, having been forced to flee her home where conflict was exacerbated by flooding. Nasreen El-Saim is a climate activist and junior negotiator at intergovernmental climate change platforms with experience across a range of topics, and she was part of the social movement that brought about democratic change in Sudan. Back in 2020, she was appointed to chair the UN Secretary General Youth Advisor on Climate Change.
The morning of Saturday, 15th of April 2023 was a very normal morning until we heard a very big explosion to the point that our whole house was shaking. And then, unfortunately, these explosions and sounds never stopped, basically until now. It's over 600 days since the war started in Sudan. We stayed in our house for 3 weeks, and then we started running out of food and water and electricity, and then moving out was a must. We took a very long trip. We've been shot at a couple of times, but we made it to my brother-in-law house at the beginning. And unfortunately, a few days later, the fighting expanded and reached the other house too. So I decided to try to leave Sudan. I did a 6-hour drive with my son. He was 9 months old at that time. So I was driving the car and he was the only person with me. And then we reached the air base and we fled Sudan with a military aircraft, basically. It was very devastating because in my 6 hours drive, I didn't know most of the streets that I normally drive in because of the destruction, and most of the places are burned. There was no marks anymore, everything is just gray and destroyed, and there was a lot of killing, a lot of armed people, I made it out of Sudan after almost 6 weeks of the war. But since I still don't have a home, a place to call home.
Days after Cyclone Chido barreled through Mayotte Island, transport to and fro the French overseas territory is gradually picking up, enabling some residents to be repatriated. Sea links between Mayotte and Comoros have reopened, enabling some 500 undocumented Comorians to be repatriated. Although commercial flights have yet to resume, French authorities have opened an air route for Mayotte to Réunion Island to evacuate French citizens. Since the cyclone hit, around 3,000 people have managed to leave the island, which is running low on basic supplies in the aftermath of the cyclone. According to locals, many are facing shortages of water and electricity. Some are living in makeshift shelters after their homes were destroyed. The European Commission is granting emergency aid to support those affected by the cyclone in Mayotte Island and Mozambique. And responding to France's call for assistance, several countries, including Belgium, Germany, and Italy, have also offered shelter and other essentials. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed his concern about the post-election violence happening in Mozambique, which has resulted in loss of lives and the destruction of public and private property. In a statement read out by a UN spokesperson, Stephanie Tremblay, Mr. Guterres emphasized the importance of addressing tensions peacefully, urging all political leaders and the relevant national stakeholders to diffuse the tensions through meaningful dialogue and legal redress. The Secretary General also stressed that resolving the crisis in a constructive manner is essential to the future of Mozambicans.
The Secretary General takes note of the announcement of the Constitutional Council of Mozambique regarding the outcome of the general elections held on 9 October 2024. He continues to follow developments closely. The Secretary General is concerned about the post-election violence which has resulted in loss of lives and the destruction of public and private property. He urges all political leaders and relevant national stakeholders to diffuse tensions, including through meaningful dialogue, legal redress, refrain from the use of violence, and redouble efforts to seek a peaceful resolution to the ongoing crisis in a constructive manner, which is essential to the collective future of Mozambicans.
The federal government of Nigeria says it is not colluding with France to destabilize the Niger Republic. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris made the rebuttal in a statement amid claims by Niger Republic's military leader, General Abdurrahmane Tichiani, that Nigeria was working with France against his country. Mr. Idris says these claims exist solely in the realm of imagination, as Nigeria has never engaged in any alliance, overt or covert, with France or any other country to destabilize the Niger Republic. He also emphasized that President Bola Tinubu, in his capacity as the chairman of ECOWAS, has maintained an open-door policy towards re-engaging Niger despite the military coup that disrupted democratic governance in the country. According to the minister, Nigeria remains committed to fostering peace, harmony, and maintaining its historic diplomatic ties with Niger. Well, in this festive period, not only the Christians are celebrating, there's the Kwanzaa celebration, an American annual observance at about Christmas time. It is an African-American cultural celebration that runs from December 26th to January 1st, at the end of which African Americans hold a feast called Karamu. According to those who observe it, the ceremony is based on African Harvest Festival traditions from various parts of West, East, and Southeast Africa. Kwanzaa, created by activist Maulana Karenga, was first celebrated in 1966. 21st century estimates place the number of Americans who celebrated Kwanzaa between 500,000 and 2 million. Well, our Washington correspondent, Maria Bird, sat down with founder of Eki's famous and creative director of Your Queens, Ekiwa Asemota, to talk more about Kwanzaa.
Akiwa Asamoto, thank you so much for joining us. We are just truly glad to be able to discuss once again the celebration of Kwanzaa in the United States. We know you have been celebrating for quite some time. We know that you're the founder of Eki's Famous and the creative director for Your Queens. And so we congratulate you on all of that. And just want to spend some time today talking about the meaning of Kwanzaa here in the United States for African Americans and those that are part of the African diaspora.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, Kwanzaa here in the United States, we celebrate it because it's a non-religious holiday celebrated by all faiths and all backgrounds, coming together to honor African traditions and values. So it's been around since 1966, and it's still a lot of people celebrate it, and some people still new to learning about Kwanzaa, started by Dr. Malana Karanga and his colleagues, and just honoring culture.
Now, I know I grew up celebrating Kwanzaa and kind of, you have the candles and the 7 principles. Tell us a little bit about the meaning of those 7 principles and what those are.
Absolutely. So Kwanzaa is celebrated between December 26th and January 1st. And it's called the Ngozi Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. So you have on the 26th, which is today, Umoja, which means unity. And the second principle is Kuji Jakulia, self-determination, being confident in who you are. The third principle is Ujima, collective work and responsibility, meaning like coming together, making, if you have family issues or something going on, you come together to support each other in collective work and responsibility. Then you have Ujama, which means cooperative economics, supporting your own, whether it's Black-owned businesses or small shops, small businesses within your community, supporting them. Then you have Kuumba, creativity. So whether it's being creative, nurturing your neighborhood, making sure the trees are beautiful, making sure your home is beautiful, or being creating jewelry or one-of-a-kind pieces, designing. Then you have Nia, one of my favorite, purpose. Mm-hmm. What is your purpose? We are all brought here in life to follow our goals and dreams. So purpose. And the last Kwanzaa principle, Imani, faith. I love to say faith in your goals and dreams. But what I love about Kwanzaa is, yes, we have these valuable principles 7 days a week, but celebrate Kwanzaa. These are principles and values to celebrate every day of the year, 365 days of the year.
Well, we know you say these are principles to celebrate every day of the year, and we know that Your Queens does the celebrations throughout the year, but this is a special time. Your Queens has a big celebration plan for this Kwanzaa week and the last day of Kwanzaa. Tell us a little bit more about Your Queens, how you all got into Kwanzaa celebrations, and what you all have been planning over these last few years.
Oh my God. So Your Queens, we are the first registered company to teach about African queens and kings through storytelling, song, and dance. So we have performed and done presentations for over 500 organizations, from schools to corporate organizations, for birthday parties, weddings. We've been able to travel not only in New York City to Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and also participate virtually on Zoom. And we literally dress up like real African queens, like Queen Nefertiti, Goddess Isis, Queen Nzinga, and teaching that we come from royalty. We always told the story of, we know of our ancestors that were enslaved, but before that, after that, during that, we were royalty. And it's a way to just bring everyone together. And on December 28th at 3 p.m., showtime at 4, we're having our 8th annual Kwanzaa celebration at Roy Wilkins Park in Queens, New York. And we are featuring live performances. My sister Osayame Asamoto will be hosting it with me. We're honoring 7 dynamic individuals while we're lighting the Kwanzaa principles. We're honoring individuals, a friend Isis Thomas, who has a holistic child care company, our resident photographer, George Troy Council, Elegance and Focus. We are honoring him. And we're honoring just a wife, mother, fathers. So, and it's just a time. These are people who have supported your queens throughout the years and doing great work in the community. And lastly, we're having a fashion show featuring, this is some of our pieces here, Your Queens line, featuring TGS by Osa, Shina, my homegirl, who has a clothing line called Don't Blame the Bartender, Varsity Jackets, Royal Fashions is another company. So 3 to 7 p.m. showtime at 4 at Roy Wilkins Recreation Center. And we do this every year. I have to shout out my parents, Benson and Mercedes Asimota. Back in the 90s, they had a cultural shop in Flatbush, Brooklyn, Park Slope area called Shake Ray Center. And they sold African clothes, jewelry, books, and they would celebrate Kwanzaa while I was a teenager. And I picked up that experience, that culture, and I feel like I've been celebrating Kwanzaa almost all my life. So I'm honored to continue to carry on the tradition and to spread the knowledge.
So you said this is your 8th annual celebration. How many people do you expect to attend? Is this also virtual or is just in person?
Yeah, we are partnering with, shout out to Juneteenth NYC, another amazing cultural nonprofit organization founded by Athenia. And they're collaborating with us this year. So we know that it's going to be bigger. Every year last year we had about 150. I think we're going to surpass that this year. So we're looking at definitely 150 and up. They'll be streaming live. Juneteenth will be streaming live, so you get to stream it live. But if you're in New York City or you know people in New York City, spread the word. Have them come out. Tickets are going fast, so get them now at www.yourqueens.com.
Well, Akiwa, we thank you so much. We wish you all the best of luck on this Kwanzaa celebration. We know that you all are doing amazing work, and we thank you for celebrating the culture and, most importantly, to continue the legacy of Kwanzaa. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Queen. Appreciate you.
How have you been celebrating this festive season? Or here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, the atmosphere is still reeling with excitement from party goers, both old and young, to spread the Christmas cheer.
Merry Christmas! Beautiful faces, and of course, good music to set the groove alive. This is Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, a city unlocking the Christmas season with lots of fun activities. At the Maracana Stadium in Ajegunle, Nigerian footballer Wilfred Ndidi brings Christmas celebrations to children in a bid to spread love and give back to the community.
Merry Christmas to you. I feel like, it's a festive period and these kids deserve to have something like this. I feel like it's actually like for something for them to have to remember, like when there's something going on in the community, these memories stick. So this is just what we're trying to do here.
We speak to some young party goer, and you can hear the excitement in their voices.
Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm here having fun. I love us I'm here, and I love Christmas because Christmas is all about like having fun and making it happy.
We make a stop at Dr. Oluyomi Abayomi Recreational Park in Oregon, Ikeja. Children and adults here have varieties of activities to pick from. For some adults here, it doesn't matter what their bank account looks like. They just want to have a good time with friends and family.
We are here to celebrate, despite all that is happening in this country, despite the economic achievement, we still just have to, when there is life, there is hope. We bless God for this wonderful day.
First, we are grateful to God that we are alive, and so it feels very good celebrating And then more importantly, celebrating with friends, loved ones. It's been a great one. And the reason for the season, which is Jesus Christ, celebrating the birth of our Savior. And that's quite important. It brings joy to the world. It brings gladness to our heart. And we are quite grateful for this.
As Lagos residents continue to celebrate the season in various grand style, they're hoping that the new year 2025 comes with a lot of ease and tranquility.
We'll see more major fun spots in the nation's capital, Abuja, witnessing a large turnout during the Christmas celebration. However, the residents are pleading with the government to improve the welfare of the people. Our correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
This is one of Abuja's fun spots, and it gets busy during festivities like Christmas. The activities are under the watchful eyes of security operatives. Inside the premises, fun seekers, mostly children, engage in all types of fun activities in the park, despite the economic situation.
Thank God for everything. But despite the economic hardship of the country, the way things are going, people still come out to celebrate Christmas because it's a time for relaxation.
The government is that they should at least help the citizenry. At least let them make things affordable, especially consumer goods.
We, as citizens of this country, we have a way of deriving happiness. Some of this thing we are doing here, we are not doing it because we are happy. We are just squeezing some money to make the kids happy. They don't know about the economic situation of the country, actually. So you have to find money elsewhere and make them happy. If you depend on the government, the kids will be at home. They'll be bored at home, which is not good for the kids.
The massive turnout is just as a result of a deficit in the supply of this kind of facility. If you look at the whole of Abuja, if you have one or two of this facility, there will not be massive turnout of this. It's just a matter of demand and supply.
Fun seekers also gather at the popular Millennium Park as well as the Jabi Park as residents use the opportunity of the holiday to unwind with families and friends.
Number 16 of the battalion.
Meanwhile, the 176 Guards Battalion of the Nigerian Army also organized a fun fair for officers and their families. The ceremony, which is part of the West Africa social activities, aims to bond military families.
This year we've undergone a lot of training, a lot of operations, which were successful. And having come to the end of the training year, we are poised to celebrate the activities, successes of the year with the end of year West African social activity.
As residents of the FCT unwind this Christmas, they're optimistic that the coming year will bring a better economy and better living condition. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
And that's it on the program for today and for the week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde. Have a lovely Christmas weekend.